Hello and good day, Mike Adcock with your Worldwide Tropical Outlook for today, the 5th of September 2013. Brief time here is 9 Zulu. Taking a look at the tropics today, a handful of tropical cyclones that we're tracking. 90W, it's a pretty weak area of disturbed weather there east of Guam. Still tracking Tropical Depression Yutu. This is a stretch, honestly, from JMA, in my opinion. Real focus is going to be over in the Western Hemisphere, 12 east, Tropical Depression there, just numbered off the coast of Mexico, and then the main focus is Tropical Storm Gabrielle. Alright, so quickly, 90W, tropical disturbance approaching Guam. At 6 Zulu, about 520 kilometers east-southeast of Guam, 15 knots and 1,010 for your pressure. JTWC is not even tracking it right now on their outlook. Really, this is just going to be area of enhanced showers and thunderstorms for Guam and the Northern Mariana Islands. And then in Tropical Depression Yutu, again, not much here to see. It looks even worse than yesterday. Really nothing other than low clouds. So 15 kilometers northeast of Wake Island. Again, moving slowly off to the west. JTWC actually has it in their outlook with a low risk area. That's honestly amazing. Here's the surface analysis from JMA. You can see the depression right there, continuing to track along the southern periphery of that subtropical high. We'll keep an eye on it to see if there's any development with that. Tropical Depression 12E at 9 Zulu. This was 245 kilometers southwest of Manzanillo, or 710 kilometers southeast of Cabo San Lucas. Winds are now up to 30 knots, gusting to 40. It's moving off to the northwest at 5 and 1,006 for your pressure. And basically what the National Hurricane Center has been tracking is some of the latest scatterometer passes over the system. That with the better convection, you're starting to see here on the MSI loop a lot better convection than what we saw yesterday along the coast of southwest Mexico. So that has been enough to call it a tropical cyclone. 30 knots, and that's basically based on the scatterometer data as well as Dvorak. Taking a look at the National Hurricane Center track on it, it's going to continue to move off to the northwest here. Baja California should continue to monitor the progress of this system. It is expected to become a tropical storm. If so, it would be named Lorena, and that's actually about 18 Zulu on the 5th. It's expected to become a tropical storm. Really not get much above that. Right now the peak from 24 to 36 hours is about 40 knots. And kind of give you an idea of what's going on. Continued northwesterly movement here as based on the track guidance. It's going to start to slow down in the next 2 to 3 days as it crosses along the southwestern periphery of a mid-level ridge. After about 2 to 3 days, it really starts to slow down, gets caught up in some weak low-level steering currents, essentially being stationary, and you can kind of see that being suggested here. All those numbers mashed together here on the track guidance, so it really starts to slow down at that point. And then taking a look at our intensity guidance, you've got two camps, one that pretty much kills it off and one that does strengthen it. Right now the National Hurricane Center thought process is, right now there's some good convection associated with it. It's going to start to pull away from mainland Mexico. Warm waters, low shear, should see some developments, enough to call it a tropical storm. After about the day, 36-48 hour point, then we should start to see some weakening. Any intensification will be gradual, and that's really just because there's not much of a core right now. After day 2, the cyclone starts to move over some of the more stable waters, stable air, and that will start to kill it off pretty quickly. So really becoming a remnant low after about 3 or 4 days. And for Tropical Storm Gabrielle, we were tracking this yesterday. Pretty good ball of convection. That ball of convection has expanded significantly. Outflow's awesome out here. The thing is, surface observations aren't catching up with it. Not a whole lot of suggestion out there that it's getting any better improved. Tracking it on radar out of Puerto Rico. Not really seeing a well-developed inner core. Matter of fact, here's the latest. This was, let's see, about 10:30 Zulu or so from Puerto Rico. Yeah, I mean, you really don't see a great deal in terms of a core with it. See here on this animation, just, I mean, good showers with it, and portions of eastern Puerto Rico are getting dumped with rainfall. Matter of fact, looking at the storm total, right now, looking at rainfall amounts, you know, up to 2 inches over eastern Puerto Rico, and that's going to continue as Gabrielle slowly moves off to the northwest, to the northwest. So again, 65 kilometers south-southwest of Ponce, Puerto Rico, 200 kilometers southeast of Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. Winds 35 knots, gusting to 45, and that's really just not seeing a whole lot of indication for development on surface observations at this time. With the lack of a low-level core, mid-levels look fine, and that kind of was indicated with the Global Hawk pass earlier today. But National Hurricane Center is suggesting that this could actually reform a surface center a little in a different location. We're going to have to see what hurricane hunters see as they fly out for their next mission. Anyway, do have some watches and warnings to point out. Show it up here on the track forecast. Here in blue are your tropical storm warnings. That's all of Puerto Rico and the northern coast or northeastern coast of the Dominican Republic. The southeastern coast is in a watch, and right now just expecting, there we go, just expecting it to continue to move off to the northwest into the weekend. By that point, it should start to be influenced by a trough moving off the east coast there, and that'll shift it to the northeast. Do have some intensification right now, looking at right now peaking at about 50 knots after 2 days. There is a lot of suspect though with the intensity forecast. I'll get into that more. Right now, though, I do want to emphasize, don't get so focused on the track here. Regardless of where Gabrielle really goes in the near term, heavy rainfall is going to be an issue for Puerto Rico and eastern Dominican Republic over the next few days. Here's the track guidance. Pretty good agreement actually here for the track right now. Going to continue moving off to the northwest. Pretty weak steering flow. It's caught up with an area of high pressure to the north. After about day 2, and you can see that here in the track guidance at that 48-hour point, a pretty pronounced shift to the northeast, and that's with that mid-level trough that's going to move off the east coast and force Gabrielle off to sea, possibly affecting Bermuda. Now the question is, what is that trough going to do in terms of shear? Right now, the intensity forecast always is a challenge, but it is very highly uncertain in this case. Some near-term development, but after that day 2 point, it's going to run into some strong westerly shear. Matter of fact, the European model tosses out the suggestion that it's going to straight up dissipate. And based off of this hurricane season, it's not I mean, you can't throw that out quite yet. So anyway, do have a pretty good spread. Could remain a weak tropical storm, weaken some. There are a couple of outliers that take it up to a hurricane strength. That may be pushing at this time. We'll continue to monitor, though, the progress of Gabrielle. I did mention hurricane hunters flying out there. Teal 71 is expected to take off here shortly at 10:45 Zulu. It'll be about a 45-minute trip out there, and then they'll hang out in Gabrielle over the next 6.5 hours doing fixes. Teal 72 will take off a little bit later on, wheels up at 22:30 Zulu, and again another 6.5 hour mission for them, and right now projecting continued 6-hourly fixes with Gabrielle. And since we are talking about recon, we've been tracking on the National Hurricane Center website a area of disturbed weather in the western Gulf. Teal 75 is set to take off at 17:30 to check it out. Not expecting any additional missions at this time. This rounds up the outlook for today. Of course, you can get this and other Western Pacific analysis over at westernpacificweather.com, or check them out on Twitter and Facebook. Of course, you can join the global tropical discussion. There will be a lot of information on Tropical Storm Gabrielle as it affects Puerto Rico and the Eastern Dominican Republic. You can follow that at storm2k.org. I'll be posting time to time on Twitter at Senior Pepper as well. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Have a great day, and please take care.